filmed press conference slash launch of the Cape Town Blitz, the T20 side that's going to be participating in the Zanzi Super League from November 16th to December the 16th. This is the first opportunity after the player draft yesterday that we can introduce officially our head coach, Ashwell Prince, and also some of the players that will be involved as well, some of the local guys that already are in Cape Town. Just to start off, I just want to make a plea to members of the media. When we open the floor up for questions for the players and the coaches, please do not. This is not a Cape Cobras press conference. If you would like to ask, the coach and any of the players any Cobras-related questions, please feel free to do that in your one-on-ones, because there is not going to be an official press conference or any opportunities before the next game against the Titans starting next week. So please feel free in your one-on-ones to ask them any questions about that particular game. When we do open up the floor, I just again request to please only keep the questions Cape Town Blitz related, and nothing on the Cobra side of things. Thank you. I want to call up CEO of Western Province Cricket Association, Mr. Nabil Lee. Actually, you can sit there, Mr. Dean.
Yes, thank you.
To formally welcome people and officially launch the Cape Town Blitz.
Thank you, David. I just want to welcome our President, Beresford Williams, here as well, who's made the time to be here today. Thank you, Beresford. Welcome to everybody. I think an exciting new concept, an exciting new team at Newlands, right? And I think in terms of the coach and everybody else here, we've got a very short turnaround time. But I think something new like this, I think the renewed energy in cricket is the important thing here, and how we're going to maybe try and make this as successful as we can make it. Okay, I think importantly, we're talking about the start of a 3-year process, right? And the main thing is to get this first year off the ground. I want to officially announce the management team that is going to be supporting the Cape Town Blitz. Okay, so on my left here, Ashwell Prince will be our head coach of the team. Faik Davids will be our assistant coach. So we're using very much the management team that presently exists. Our strength and conditioning coach will be Sherman Baitis. Our physio will be Shane Jabbar. Our team manager will be Llewellyn Roman. And at this point in time, we're still going to determine an analyst consultant. Okay, and more than likely that analyst consultant will be Paul Adams. I'm just mentioning it, but we will reconfirm it pretty soon. Okay, I think we're very excited with the playing, but I think here are the experts that can talk about the players and their picks and why they did it. On the 9th of November, the team or the squad will assemble on the 9th of November, and that squad, and we all know that our marquee Protea player is Quinton de Kock, having replaced JP Duminy, who withdrew, and I think I'll leave it to the coach to talk through any other questions you may have with respect to players. Okay, we really want this to be very much an interactive session. So I mean, we don't want to make speeches or anything like that. So I think we're almost going to open almost immediately. You know, we're going to open the floor for you to ask questions with respect to the Cape Town Blitz, and anything you may want to know. I know until probably 48 hours ago, there was a lot of uncertainty still on a number of issues, and I think a lot of that has now been clarified. You know, so ask your questions if you require more clarity, and if we can answer them, we will do so. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Just for your guys' sake, guys who don't know me, I'm David Brook. I'll be the marketing and media person for the Cape Town Blitz. Please forward any inquiries to me. Just to see the guys from Good Hope FM here. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for being here today. I'll open the floor up now for questions, just to introduce you to the panel over here. In front here is Farisco Adams, Cape Town Blitz all-rounder. Ashwell Prince, our head coach. Dane Pitts, Cape Town Blitz, let's call it all-rounder as well, because he likes me to call him an all-rounder. And then opening batsman for the Cape Town Blitz, Yanaman Malan. Just so you know, those are the 3 guys that we've got in front here. Please feel free to ask them. When you ask the question, please just say your name and the media house that you're from, and then the guys will hand around the mic. So if you could just hand the mic to the relevant person.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Altus?
Altus Wolfman, Ashton, just get through how you guys decided on your team, how you decided on your team construction, and just a second question, if you got even a week together before the first match. Are you guys going to be playing any pre-season games?
So we, the structure for the draft, depending on what pick we were in the particular round. So if we were the 5th pick, we would have 5 choices for that round. If we were the 3rd pick, we'd have 3 choices for that round. So if none of our picks were taken, we'd have our first choice. If all of our picks were taken in a 5th pick, we'd take the 5th person if all the other 4 was gone. So that was basically the structure. Paul Adams was very good in assisting that. We brought him along because he had experience from being with the draft last season as well. And it was really valuable also to have JP Dumini, who I must give a lot of credit to, despite the fact that he's not going to be partaking in the tournament and missing out, obviously financially, was instrumental in assisting us late into the night on, when was it, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Just getting the structure right in terms of players that we're looking at. Obviously, JP's played a lot of leagues around the world, so there are 1 or 2 names that people are not familiar with, but very exciting players indeed. As far as the tournament warm-up matches, I think we have 3 or 4, two warm-up matches scheduled before the first match.
So will those be other sort of new franchise, or will you be playing with these Western Province or
At this stage, I'm not aware.
Yeah, I think at this point, if I can respond, no, we haven't yet got to that point. Okay, just remember we're announcing them now. You understand? We know what our team is now, so we need to meet first to see what the plan is going to be. But it'll probably be a maximum of 2 warm-up games.
As for just Zyran from Independent Media, you have Town Blitz as your overseas marquee player. What do you expect him to bring? And
yeah, I think a lot of people might have been surprised by the pick. I think maybe David Milan internationally not as well recognized as some of the others. What we did have to consider quite strongly is availability of the overseas players. So most of the guys are only available from the 4th of December to the end of the tournament. Effectively missing our first 7 games out of 10, and we couldn't take that risk. Only having anybody else who's only going to be available for 3 out of the first 10. We thought we might, if you don't get things together early on, that might be too late in the tournament to get somebody else. And if you, from a team environment perspective, you also want as little distraction as possible with people going out and coming in and going out and coming in. That is still going to be the case because some of the guys are playing in a scheduled T10 tournament in Dubai, so we will have a bit of that. But at least there were only two of the overseas internationals that were available pre and post the T10 tournament. The rest were only available post the T10, so they wouldn't be here for the start. So they wouldn't be here for the start until the 4th of December. By then we would have played 7 games, so that made it very difficult. In terms of what he brings to the team, skills-wise, I think he's an exciting opening batsman, top-order batsman. I think he can possibly bat at number 3 as well. Having had a little squads at the lineup, obviously Yaneman is here as an exciting opening batsman. We have Quinny, so we have 3 options there. But if you're looking for a solid guy to go into the middle order or to number 3, I think he's quite experienced, so he could fulfill that role as well.
Just if you look at the squad, it's a very locally based squad. It looks a lot like the Global squad with a couple of additions. Was that always the mindset? If you also look at the guys that you brought in, it's guys who possibly want to play at the Global. So is that the mindset?
After the first 6 rounds, it looked like we're not going to have any Cobras at all. So that's how it panned out. Look, you obviously have people in mind that you really want to get in your team, and then the guy just before you picks one of your guys that you've got penciled in, and then you have to sort of. I made the joke on the day that we had Faiki there. Faiki he's quite a guy on the dance floor with his moves, so we have to think quick on our feet there. But yeah, so these type of things happen in the draft where you got somebody penciled in, and then the guy just before you goes for him, and you have to go to your plan B. But one of the questions was posed also, we get together like shortly before the start of the tournament. And I think it's very difficult to have a dressing room full of people that you don't know. So part of the plan obviously is to at least know some of the characters in the dressing room and get to know the other guys as quickly as possible as the tournament starts and you get into it.
Nasser Alexander, Cricket 365. You picked Pakistan player Asif Ali. You said JP had a big role in that. Can you just tell us what JP's words were and what the feedback was regarding him?
Well, JP we were on FaceTime for about 3 hours, going through every position in the team. You got to the middle order, and of course, there are some guys who are playing for the Proteas now who are not regular players, and there are names maybe like a Christian Jonker, there are names like Farhan Biardin, and you're not quite sure whether you're going to be able to get those types of experienced players. And so you're trying to put other people around the world into that category. And his name is obviously one of the names somebody who bats in the middle order, can clear the boundary, has got a good average combined with a good strike rate. So strike rate obviously being very important in this format of the game. And we ended up getting 2 of those guys, getting Farhan Biardin and Asif. So, you know, obviously when you think to our local team here, it's probably an area last year where we lacked. So I've got a bit of experience in trying to, you know, we were good at the top. I feel that we're good at the top now with Koni, Yaneman and Milan. But it was very important to get certain players into crucial positions in the middle order as well. And I think we picked up some decent players there.
Mr. President, is there, I'm not 100% sure, but is there targets for Cape Town Blitz? There wasn't last year for the global. I'm sorry, not the Cape Town Blitz, for the Mozambique Super League.
Sorry, I've got the mic. You want to know if there's targets with respect?
There wasn't
the only conditions with respect to this league is that we must have 2 overseas on the field of play.
Okay.
Right? We could pick 3. We could in fact pick up to 4, but only two must play, and 2 Black Africans must play. That's the only conditions within the tournament.
No overall player of color number?
No, there's no such a thing, and also the rookie doesn't have to play. There was a bit of confusion around that the rookie.
Okay,
In our case, it's Carl Verena.
So
So I'm just saying he doesn't have to play. So the only conditions is 2 overseas and 2 Black Africans. Have to play.
More questions from the group, Johnny?
I know your concern around, you asked a question about David Malan, that we may, in the not too distant future, maybe be the Malan 11. You understand me? But I know it's the 4th Malan, but there's no link whatsoever. Okay.
John Henry Wilson, an independent. Before Quinny's arrival instead of JP, was Kyle Ferrain was kind of the target for the rookie pick as a keeper?
I kind of have to say no. I can't. You can't say what's going to happen in the draft. I mean, if you want to balance your team, somebody like Quentin, who is a top batsman, wicketkeeper, you don't have to pick another wicketkeeper in the team. So you just don't know how it's going to pan out when you're sitting there. And you know, Kyle Vereen is a good cricketer. We are fortunate and we're happy to have him. But that's just how things panned out in the day, I think.
Question for Yaneman, if I may. Yaneman, it's been quite a rip-roaring 8 months for you, moving provinces, franchises, playing in the club champs, playing for Cobras now. Now you're sort of on a global stage. Can you comment on that and the pressures or the excitement that come along with that? Is this the goal, to play in a lucrative T20 franchise league, or is it just a step along the way?
Yeah, I think it's every cricketer's dream or goal to move up as high as possible, firmly as quick as possible as well. But yeah, trying to take everything in my stride, and regarding this league coming up, just trying to pick as many brains as possible, using the opportunity. First year in that standard of play as well, so just seeing it as a learning curve, trying to contribute as well as I can.
Last question for Dan. You picked up one of the smallest price tags, 50k. Are you looking forward to sort of throwing that in the face of the guys that didn't pick you earlier for a higher price?
No, not necessarily that pays for a videographer and a photographer at my wedding next year. So I appreciate the hierarchy that picked me for that amount. But I'm a competitor. I'll try to win every game. I think it's a blessing in disguise that I'm picked for the Cape Town team because I'm a Cape Town boy through and through. So when we go out there to play, I'll try to get as many wickets as possible and try to they'll scoop a couple of balls over the keeper before to win a game. So yeah. That's it selected.
Are you the captain of the team?
No, I don't think so.
Mark, from the store. CEO, is there anything in the prize money for the tournament?
Yeah, at this point in time, that has not yet, Mark, it has not yet been finalized. Okay, so it may be premature. I know there's certain proposals on the table at the moment, but it's not been finalized. I think CSA will probably more than likely make announcements with respect to that.
Harvey from Basic Cricket Magazine, Ashwell. I just wanted to ask you about your selection of Dale Steyn and what he brings to the side.
So, about 3 or 4 rounds in, we had Quinton de Kock, top order batsman. We had David, international top order batsman. And we had Andile Petlakwayo, all-rounder, and we really needed a fast bowler. We needed an opening bowler. And obviously, again, as I explained before, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, I think we might have been the third pick in that round. And 1 or 2 in that round might have been taken, and then Dale Steyn's name was next on. What he brings to the team, I think in T20 cricket, you're looking for, there's not a lot of time in the match, so you're looking for people who set the tone. Whether you're batting first or whether you're bowling first, people with experience who can set the tone for the team. So you really want to be on the money when you're starting with the ball in hand. He brings that. He brings a lot of experience. Obviously, he has a bit of pace as well. And then somebody like Samuel Badri also bowls at the start, sets the tone. You know, he can bowl at the start. So that's what a guy like Dale Steyn brings to the party.
Last year the Grand Slam obviously went very well. For you, is this just another stage for the Iceman to show his skills?
Yeah, it was a nice tournament last year as well, for me personally as well. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to this tournament as well, just to express myself as well. I'm just glad for the pick that I got to play in the Mzansi League. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the tournament.
Ashwell, you didn't make require him for. He was the first pick for the Blitz. Yeah, he's quite a young player though. What's the role? Is he going to play a leadership role in the international player?
If I look at the squad, I don't think he'll be a leader in terms of captain or vice captain. If that's the question. But obviously, in terms of performance, he's a leader. He's an international player for South Africa. He wins matches. He's closed out matches, bowling last overs for South Africa in 50-over cricket, 20-over cricket. He's closed out matches, batting towards the end, clearing the boundary. So in terms of playing on the field, he'll play a leadership role. In terms of team management, etc., I can see other people being ahead of him in that department.
A question to the floor, but David, perhaps you're better suited to answer this. There's a lot of talk about all the bylines that come with the tournament about fan experience. Do you want to, or can you reveal how you're going to get bums on seats and bodies through the turnstiles?
It's actually been confirmed today. We have a meeting in Johannesburg next week. All the marketing managers around the country will be attending that, where we get confirmed budgets, etc. We have got a plan in place to get out. We're busy talking to the city as well. We would like to create a fan walk type of experience from Main Road here over the bridge onto Campground Road. So that is all being finalised at the moment. We are sitting down with the city who have been very cooperative in hearing what we have planned for the tournament. They want to support this tournament. In terms of the marketing, a big target market is going to be the schools for this event. We're going to be doing as much as we can, and that it obviously helps that some of the players are in the squad are locally based, and that barring other, commitments to the COVIDs, etc., when they are available, we will be out there in the schools trying to get the kids energized and renewed energy in the young market in Cape Town.
David, I'll just add to that. I think that the primary purpose for this particular league, okay, is to bring what they call non-traditional cricket fans, okay, back into the stadiums. So you'll find there'll be a lot of activations, particularly around things that are, that will attract young people. Okay, so I'm going to use gaming as an example. Okay, so I can say that that's something that's going to come into our stadium for this particular tournament. To bring young people in, and there's a long-term thinking with respect to this. Okay, but at this right now, David knows he's only going up on Monday or Tuesday, where these marketing things are going to be finalized. Okay.
Just finally, obviously JP would, I presume, would be the captain. It doesn't look like a captain just right there. We discussed.
Announce a little later.
It will be announced later, but we feel that we've got a few candidates.
Okay. Must be political.
Any other questions from the floor before we open up to one-on-ones?
Yeah, please.
We've had a lot of rains, but water restrictions will still come into play. Last year we had cricket seasons cancelled here. How are you going to work around getting that to be still active, the conserving of water?
Are you talking particularly at Newlands itself? Because I think the cricket season that was curtailed was for club cricket. Okay, obviously Newlands carried on. We're fortunate we have a borehole here. In fact, we've got two. So that does help us here, okay, with respect to those things. But in terms of the sensitivity will not go away, okay, in terms of what we do in our toilets, in everything else we do here, okay. We're still working very strongly to go off the grid completely, but we've also realized that's not a quick process. Okay, so this plan for the stadium to go completely off the water grid is still on course. It's being researched at the moment. You understand? I was hoping that we could have done it by now, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be.
Yeah, sorry, one more.
So the media still keeps trying to do the rivalry card, but Ashwell's pushing the brotherhood card between Palm Rocks and Cape Town Blitz. Is there any kind of mutual benefits in terms of player transfer type stuff, like it happens with Boyland and Western Province at amateur level, or anything that kind of scenario possible?
Are you talking about the Rocks and the Blitz?
Yes.
No, I don't think there can be an exchange.
Okay, well, not on a formal basis, but
No,
internal warm-ups or.
No, I don't think even informally. Yeah, we may. It would be a good thing if we could play a warm-up game against each other. I think that would be good. But that's for the coaches to decide. I think in terms of, I think that's their skill set. They must sort that out. Yes, the brotherhood that Ashwell raised yesterday between the two, brotherhood. But I think important to remember we're still competitors. Okay, so we still want to win on the field, but we're going to definitely try as Western Cape teams. Okay, to see how we can leverage whatever happens there, and they can leverage whatever happens here. So there's a derby on the 7th of December, for example, and we hopefully hope that day we'll have a packed house here, with a lot of the Paul people coming down to watch their team. So brotherhood, competitiveness, but we come from the same region, you understand me, and I think from that, but when it comes to exchanging, I think we'll stop short of doing that.
Questions from the floor before we open for one-on-ones? Just if I can just request that the one-on-ones are kept quite short and to the point. The guys we pulled them out of training